I was wondering, how does VS Code know that random property is not allowed, but for example, type is valid and it's not even a string, but actually accepts only some specified values? I realized that pretty much the answer is the same for all modern editors and IDEs, letting you validate JSON, YAML, TOML, and other config files. The cool thing is that everything is hosted in an open source repository and lets you validate, document, and autocomplete almost 1,000 different formats. And well, I didn't know until yesterday, or actually a few days ago, so here's what I found. The first thing I noticed is that actually this default field was throwing an error pretty much as random property is now doing. So the first thing I did was, hey, there's a tooltip here telling me something with the source. Let me click on this and open on the browser. From here, I realized, okay, we have some schema store website holding our schemas. So let me delete this, and it still doesn't exist. So let me try to delete this one too. And basically, I landed on this website. Here it mentions that there are schemas for 781 files. And for example, if I type GitHub, you can find that there's also the GitHub issue form. That is basically the schema I was just looking at. In short, what happened is that the default value I showed you here, this one here, was actually not listed in the schema. So what can I do? Well, first of all, I was curious and I realized that a lot of editors are actually supporting these schemas, including obviously Visual Studio Code. And is this project open source? Yes, it is. I can open this on GitHub and, well, schema store, leave a star. The thing is, if you notice that something is missing, it's quite simple to add, and let me find the PR I just submitted, that is this one here. And like I said, I noticed that the default field was missing. So everything I had to do was basically adding this simple object to define that there's a field called default, the description, which is the one you see here, and also an example. This is a number, so I just put 0. But you can also notice this file over here that is under the folder test. Yes, because obviously every time you add something, you should make sure it is properly tested. And how it works here is that there are some files, some test files, that are tested against your configuration, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you think something is missing or you want to change some file or some properties, just do the basic thing you have to do for open source project. There's a contributing.md file that is really well documented, explaining everything you need to know. The most important thing, if you want to do a really little change like I did, is written here. Just clone the repository, go in the source folder and run npm install. And then if you want to do your changes right after you've done them, you can run the test to validate with npm run grunt. If you want to validate only one file, because there are quite a lot, well, this is the command with the schema name. And that's exactly what I did. So once you have your project set up, you can run here, we say it npm run grunt, and this will basically run the test, matching all the definitions with all the test schemas. But this actually takes a while. But for example, since I did a change on the GitHub issue form file, I can copy the command from here, just making sure I replace this with the name of my file, GitHub issue forms. And now, well, the test is run only on my file. So that's really simple. With just a tiny PR, you can help other developers having JSON, YAML, TOML, and all definition files, schemas, validated and properly documented. This was a really short video. I just found this, like I said, a few days ago, and I wanted to share with you all. So thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I talk about open source and web development pretty much every week. With that said, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!